Hello, ladies and gentlemen. It is I, Mighty Sophia, aka Emily Sophia, and this is no ordinary television review. Today, we are not here to discuss apocalyptic survivors, alluring serial killers, or warring kingdoms of fictional lands afar. Sorry to disappoint. On the contrary, I am here to inform you of why you should be watching a show that you have probably avoided like the plague or never even heard of. Crazy Ex-Girlfriend. Being that I am making a case for why one ought to fall head over heels in love with this series, I will not spoil any significant plot points going forward. Chances are you glimpsed the title of the show in an article on your social media feed, you cringed, shrugged, packed your bags, and headed for the hills. And this is why I am here, especially for the disbelievers, skeptics, and cynics. I'm here to persuade you to give Crazy Ex-Girlfriend a chance. Because really, it is the chance of a lifetime. So, a little bit of background for you guys. Crazy Ex-Girlfriend was co-created and written by its leading actress, Rachel Bloom. She's known on YouTube as Rachel Does Stuff, all one word, where she featured her smash hit Hugo Award nominated musical comedy video, pardon my French, Fuck Me Ray Bradbury. She also took home this year's Golden Globe for Best Actress in a Musical or TV Comedy Series. So the Crazy Ex-Girlfriend pilot was originally filmed for Showtime but got picked up by the CW and has since been certified fresh on Rotten Tomatoes and received a slew of positive critical reviews, but the ratings remain low and the fan base remains pretty small but still overflowing with passion like the show does. For many, the sheer title of the series was incredibly off-putting. I mean, the term Crazy Ex-Girlfriend has come to carry many misogynistic or sexist implications, creating a stereotype of the woman scorned, neurotic, obsessive, fixated, frenzied, possessed even. The not so funny thing is, these are characterizations of womanhood that have been around for centuries, and in today's society, they have most recently taken the form of this awful cliche, among others. So, yeah, it's easy to judge a book by its cover. I know I did, but herein lies the brilliance of this show. Its central character, Ivy League graduate and lawyer extraordinaire Rebecca Bunch, is both the ex-girlfriend of a crucial character whom she does in fact pursue, and is crazy in a manner of speaking, but this is the linchpin here. She is never portrayed as the titular crazy ex-girlfriend. Crazy and ex-girlfriend, respectively, represent different parts of Rebecca's life that she grapples with in this hysterical, self-poisoning pursuit of happiness and ongoing struggle with mental illness, anxiety, and depression. Rebecca deals with her craziness and shows the complexity of her motives and emotions through elaborate, satirical song and dance that puts her heart on her sleeve and very cleverly critiques society without skipping a beat. Oh, and Rachel Bloom posts almost all of the full-length songs as music videos on her YouTube channel, and there is an explicit version of the soundtrack that is either hitting iTunes or already has, but it is insane, and I mean that in the best possible way. So allow me to set up the premise, which is very nicely encapsulated in the theme song of the show. So, once upon a time, in a high school summer camp far, far away, Rebecca Bunch was dumped by her camp boyfriend, Josh Chan. Surely a mere speck on the timeline of romance, right? Well, not exactly. Fast forward a decade or so, and Rebecca is the picture of success as a brilliant, accomplished lawyer in the competitive melting pot of New York City. And just after she's been offered a partnership at her firm, she runs out onto the street, fumbles with her antidepressants, and breaks down into tears. She is not in a good place. Suddenly, she looks up and sees a billboard, an advertisement for butter, which she had previously seen on TV, and it reads, "When was the last time you were truly happy?" It's a simple, provocative message that happens to collide with her bumping into Josh completely out of the blue. Rebecca is stunned and elated and breathless, and Josh is happy. That is something that resonates with Rebecca. Another thing that resonates her is where he happens to be living now, which is West Covina, California. Not as close to the beach as you would think, by the way. So, Rebecca and Josh part ways, but not long thereafter does she reject her promotion, jump off the corporate ladder, and travel across the entire continental United States to reside in the land of Josh, that is West Covina. But not because of Josh, so she tells herself over and over. And the ironic truth is, we come to realize over the course of the show that it really isn't that simple. Rebecca knows it's not, and she conveys that to us by exposing and parading her ridiculous psyche through bombastic musical numbers. And she's not just chasing Josh. She's woken up to the misery of her own life and is chasing his happiness. Does that make sense? She wants Josh and the same kind of self-confidence that he has, and goes about achieving her ever-fluctuating goals in the best way she knows how, by making a cataclysmic mess and then cleaning up one mess with another. So that's the way that she do. But she is by no means static or naive or one-dimensional in all of her outrageous screw-ups. She's deeply, tragically sympathetic, and she feels every ounce of loneliness, guilt, self-loathing, confusion, disillusionment, hope, and betrayal that we ourselves feel in our lives. And the residents of West Covina are equally as multifaceted as Rebecca, from the socially awkward and mustachioed boss at her new law firm, to the deep-thinking local bartender, to the deadpan ex-psych student next door, to Rebecca's overbearing, overcaring, middle-aged coworker and newfound best friend. Oh, and everybody else gets their musical moment to shine, too. The story is by no means confined to Rebecca's perspective, although the show does find its strong anchor in her entertaining yet relatable dilemmas. So here's the thing. Here's the best way that I can sum this up for you. Crazy Ex-Girlfriend is as deep as it is wide. It's focused, but it's diverse. The music is fun, but it's subversive. It takes us out of our comfort zones, preconceived notions, and cultural norms, and makes us see ourselves and our world differently. And for those of you thinking that this is still just some wacky, unfortunately named romantic comedy, here are some of the many themes and representation issues that the show explores, and it's never in a pandering or moralistic way, but here's the little list that I've assembled. We've got sexuality, misogyny, cultural identity, self-identity, race, abandonment, divorce, family, anxiety, terminal illness, infidelity, technology, social belonging, friendships, isolation, addiction, repression, faith, trust, pixie dust. When I say that there is something in this show that hits everyone upside the face, I mean it. Brace yourself, because you're gonna get emotionally slapped, and then you're gonna slap your knees until you need to see an orthopedic surgeon, because Crazy Ex-Girlfriend is mercilessly funny and relentlessly honest in a world that eats the same lies it shits out on a regular basis. Rebecca is profoundly flawed, yet such a lovable woman whose exploits allow us to reassess our own actions and consider the fact that maybe we're not alone in our most terrible, deeply seated thoughts or traumas. Rachel Bloom and the rest of her production and creative team have breathed life into the story of a character who is ambitious, damaged, and smart. So smart that she outsmarts herself and spirals out of control on a multiple times a day basis. But I get her and her mischief. I really do. And the show's messages come through loud and clear, but they don't have to shout, even though they do tend to put on their red dancing shoes. So, if you want a comedy with humor that stems from its genuine love for its eccentric characters, and that evokes a real emotional response because its characters are the kinds of people you will actually find in the world, then sit down and let Crazy Ex-Girlfriend make its magic happen all over you. You're welcome. So almost every episode of the show, I will say, has about 2 musical numbers, and their styles range from classic Broadway to gospel to pop anthem to rock ballad to everything in between and beyond. And I think perhaps the show's most famous song to date is the Sexy Getting Ready song, which I've linked in the description below. It's about the sometimes disturbing lengths to which women are expected to go when grooming themselves for an oh-so-sexy date. It's frightening, graphic, and in your face. And did I mention it's perfect? Big as it is. I've also provided links to several of my other all-time favorite musical numbers so far, which include the song Settle For Me, a very jazzy, tender song about settling. I'm a Good Person, in which Rebecca tries to cover up feeling terrible about her decisions by doing something charitable. Sexy French Depression, in which Rebecca tries to glamorize and sophisticate her emotional turmoil. And You Stupid Bitch, in which Rebecca confronts her deceitful, shameful ways with a pseudo-parody of schmaltzy songs like My Heart Will Go On. Oh yeah, and last week's Cold Showers Lead to Crack is a stunning and triumphant change of pace for Rebecca as she lawyers up and convinces an entire apartment complex to become litigants in a lawsuit involving a water conspiracy. Oh yeah. So the genre, staging, choreography, and feel of each song depicts a different facet of Rebecca's soul, or how she is internally processing or reacting to a situation. Often the barrier between musical fantasy and reality is blurred to the point that you can 100% tell if a song is unfolding in Rebecca's mind or in the real world, but that's kind of the fun of it. And let me tell you this, Bloom's a fantastic performer and songstress, and so are her cast members, which include, but are not limited to, Vincent Rodriguez, Donna Lynn Champlin, who freaking knows, sorry, Santino Fontana, the voice of Hans in Frozen, Pete Gardner, and Bella Lavelle, which is a personal favorite of mine. So, let's face it, the reason we all secretly wish that our lives were musicals is because music liberates self-expression and helps us understand ourselves in a grander, less mundane way, I would say. So that's how it goes with Rebecca, whose pure yet incredibly twisted love of Josh and her helter-skelter quest to find her footing in West Covina makes for one of the most creative and cathartic TV comedies I've ever welcomed into my life. So that begs the question, are you going to invite it into yours? I hope that I have sufficiently convinced you to at least check this show out if you haven't seen it before, or maybe to get back into it if you saw the premiere episode and you were like, what the actual crap is happening? And for those of you who love the show, I would love to know your thoughts, what you enjoy about it. And, you know, this is just me desperately needing to talk about this show because it's worth it, because it's important. It is so on top of its game, and I just want more people to love it, regardless of whether or not it is renewed for a second season. So, as of yet, I don't know if that's the case, but, you know, we'll see. So, thank you guys so much for watching this video. Let me know all your thoughts down below and check out the description for lots of fun stuff. And as always, I will see you in no time.